one of the things I noticed in the survivors core was that they didn't want anybody to post things that weren't proven medically. And so I'm a little uncertain about whether they're going to be comfortable with my posting this on their website. I don't have any medical training. I am a naturopath. I've been one for 50 years. I don't know what I think about things proven or not. I do know that the medical profession is at a loss about what to do with the COVID-19, and we're just sort of left on our own to some degree. And I had breathing issues, and when I got COVID, I had 3 nights where I thought I was going to have a cytokine storm with my breathing. And as I've been slightly involved in the survivors core, I've noticed that there are people who are talking about continued breathing issues. So today I just want to share with you the beginning part of Buteyko, and one is to just get a baseline of how breathless you really are. A lot of us are breathless. Asthma is breathless, sleep apnea is breathless, COPD is breathless, lots of breathlessness. I had exercise-induced asthma, but it carried over into my life. And I didn't recognize that until I started to apply these skills and I began to notice more about what I was doing. So I don't have a science background, and I want to keep this in the KISS thing, keep it simple, stupid, because that was the best way that I could understand it. And there's a difference between intellectually understanding things and understanding things within my body. So I could sort of understand what breathlessness was as it was being explained to me in the instructor training, but I had to feel it in my body to understand how it could benefit me. So the breathlessness really starts off with how quickly do you feel you need to take your next breath? And people who don't have breathlessness, and they don't have to be athletes, don't feel any urge to take a breath for about 30 to 40 seconds. And I mean the first urge to feel that you need to breathe. We know, or I learned, maybe you know, that if we become knocked unconscious and we are not breathing, that adults have enough oxygen in their body for 4 to 5 minutes before there's sustained brain damage, and children up to 20 minutes. And yet most of us can't hold our breath for 4 or 5 minutes, much less 40 seconds, much less without feeling an urge to breathe. And so is that feeling an urge to breathe a physiological need in our body, or is it something else? And what I discovered in both the Buteyko and Oxygen Advantage training is that it's a habit that our body gets into. And that habit can be exacerbated by conditions in our body. Can we improve? Well, I improved. Did I improve to be the best breather in the world? Probably not. My theory was any improvement was better. And how much was any for me? Well, if I started at X and I could improve 0.0000000000000000001%, that was an improvement. And then I found that I could improve more. I do have to keep on doing these skills periodically when I find myself becoming more breathless. They're not hard to do. I can do them sitting, standing, lying, walking, moving, running, swimming, anything, because I breathe all the time. I breathe in and I breathe out. And I want to breathe in a more calm manner and a easier manner when I'm doing anything. So the first thing is to find out what your control pause is, which means how quickly does your body feel you need to take a breath in. And that's subtle, and that's what you have to figure out for yourself. What does that mean to you? Most of us fudge this because we hold our breath longer than when we first feel that urge to breathe in, because there's a part of us that gets competitive and feels that we need to say, oh, I can hold it a bit longer. The purpose is not to hold it a bit longer. You can do that in some of the other skills that I'll teach you. The purpose now is to be honest with yourself. And when I got honest with myself, I found out that my control pause was about 5 seconds. In other words, I really felt I needed to breathe quite quickly after I exhaled. I'm going to cough here. So when we do this exercise, we are going to do this after a slight exhale. And our inhale should not be exaggerated. So we are not going to do this. Okay, that's an exaggeration. So you shouldn't see me inhale, and you shouldn't really see me exhale, which means that when you test your control pause, you neither want to feel yourself or hear yourself inhale, or see or feel yourself exhale. So all you want to do, and I'm not going to hold my control pause for as long as I might, I am just going to show you how to do this, and then you do it for yourself. And then this is going to be your baseline. Do I test my control pause lots? No, frankly, I don't. Once I found out that mine was about 5 seconds, I just realized I have a shortness of breath. I feel I need to breathe often. And I began to use the skills and do the exercises. And I found that my breathing calmed down. I maybe in the first year tested my control pause a few times, but then I just stopped because I knew that I was breathing better. I didn't feel as tired breathing. I could do more. So it's up to you whether you're a fanatic about testing your control pause. It's really just a beginning place to acknowledge what you feel's going on in your body. So what you're going to do is take a slight breath in, slight breath out, pinch your nose, and then you're just going to have a little clock as a sweep hand, and you're going to test until you feel inside that first urge to breathe. And then when you breathe, breathe in your nose. If you have to breathe in your mouth, then you've gone too far. If you feel your breathing has become more strained afterwards, then you haven't recognized that beginning urge. So it's very simple. You just breathe in, breathe out. And then breathe in when you feel that need to breathe. And once again, I didn't hold it as long as my body might be able to. And it changes depending on the weather, depending on the day, depending on. So don't treat this as either success or disaster. If you're watching this, you feel you have some breathing dysfunction, and you would like to improve that. There are many, many breathing techniques that you will find on YouTube. Buteyko is one of them. Oxygen Advantage is one of them. I found a very good one on Shaolin breathing, which I liked very, very much, which I've posted in Survivor's Core before, and will post on this as well. So that's your control pause. That's your baseline. Don't get scared. It is what it is. It's a habit. That's what I learned. We can change habits. We can change habits by learning skills. So the first skill that I'm going to teach you is a skill that's called unblocking your nose. Now, before I teach you about unblocking your nose, I need to tell you why, in some ways, I was motivated to learn Buteyko. It was sort of a binary system. Humans either breathe in our nose, in our mouth, out our nose, out our mouth, not our ears, not our toes, not our eyes. We are breathing in oxygen. We are expelling carbon dioxide. Oxygen is carried in our blood system. And there is a relationship between oxygen and carbon dioxide. And this other gas, which I knew nothing about, called nitric oxide, which actually gathers in your sinuses. And nitric oxide, the way that I learned about it was not through Buteyko. It was through watching a TV program called Trust Your Doctor. And it was a BBC program. And one of the doctors went to do some research about sunscreens and vitamin D and what was the best way to absorb vitamin D and the benefits of sunscreen. And this researcher was taking human epithelial cells, skin cells, and exposing them to sunlight. When he exposed human skin cells, just on the top of the skin, to sunlight, they glowed white. Wow, that was weird. And that was the development of nitric oxide. And nitric oxide's purpose in our body is as a vasodilator. And what he discovered was when we put sunscreen on, we blocked the development of nitric oxide. And when we have blood pressure problems or tension or stress or difficulty breathing, our blood vessels constrict. Because when we have difficulty breathing, that stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, which I knew nothing about. So this is the simple way that I've learned about it. The sympathetic nervous system is our stress response, our fright, flight, fight, or freeze. And what it does in our body is it constricts our blood vessels, and so that our blood vessels are less elastic. And it drives our primary energy into responding quite quickly. So when we're living with a lot of stress in our body, which we may or may not feel in our mind, our blood vessels are quite constricted. The nitric oxide is one of the gases that opens the blood vessels, that stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the calming part of our body. So the blood vessels open, the blood pressure goes down, we feel calmer. So when we do this first exercise called unblocking the nose, part of what you begin to be aware of over time, it took me several months to become aware of it, is a tingling in our sinuses, which is the nitric oxide that I could then just real or imagined inhale into my body and ask it to open up my blood vessels. And the blood vessels are all the way down into those little capillaries at our extremities, so that our hands become warmer, our feet become warmer, and we can tingle all the way out to our extremities. That's the parasympathetic nervous system opening up and opening up those blood vessels. And they open up the alveoli in our lungs as well. So when people are in their parasympathetic system, when they're calm and relaxed, they are nose-nose breathers. They breathe in the nose and out the nose. When we get more stressed, we move to breathing in our nose and out our mouth. And then when we get more stressed, we sometimes will breathe in and out our mouths. A lot of people breathe in our mouths because our noses are blocked or for other reasons. So both Buteyko and Oxygen Advantage stresses nose-nose breathing. They do it by taping the mouth at night. I don't do that. That's another discussion. I've always been a nose breather at night. I don't breathe in my mouth at night, but some people do. And you can research this for yourself and make a decision for yourself. But I do get stuffed noses. I get them for all sorts of reasons. Who knows why? So right now my nose is a bit stuffed. I'm in a new climate. It's more humid. It has more dust. I get stuffed noses. So this is unblocking the nose. All of these exercises start off with a normal inhale, a slight exhale, and you block your nose. So with this, unlike the control pause, where you let go of your nose as soon as you felt a need to breathe, you are going to hold close your nose and stop breathing until you have a slight urge to breathe. And you will determine for yourself what is a slight urge, what is a moderate urge, and what is a severe urge. This is personal to each of us. When you feel that slight urge to breathe, you breathe in your nose again, and then you breathe normally, and that's the way you know where you've gone from slight to moderate to severe, because if you've gone to moderate, you do that more, and if you've gone to severe, you want to do that more. So when you've done slight, you can pretty much fairly regularly, within 3 to 6 breath cycles, return to that normal in the nose, out the nose breathing. And if you've never breathed in and out the nose, this is going to be transformative to you. So when you do this, you're going to either rock or nod. This is only to distract you. This is not a magic wand. It is just to keep you being comfortable holding your nose for a little bit. It's a distraction. You can do it either way you want. You can do the sitting, lying, standing, walking, running. I've done it all. It's unblock the nose. So when you let your finger go and you breathe in your nose, just say to yourself, I'm going to breathe in this nitric oxide. You don't have to feel anything yet. You may not feel anything. As I said, it took me several months to feel it. Now I can feel it sooner, and I crave that feeling, particularly if I'm feeling tense or stressed or find that I'm getting more puffed. I like that feeling. I like that tingling in my hands and my feet. I like that warming. I like that calmer feeling. I like that parasympathetic expression in my body. So I do this because I enjoy that feeling that I get. It unwinds me. So we're going to do this 5 times. So we're going to go over the instructions first. You're going to breathe in, just normally, breathe out slightly, pinch your nose. You're going to rock or nod until you feel a slight desire to breathe. You're going to breathe in, breathe out through your nose. Do that 3 to 6 times. I'll do it 3 times. We're going to do it again. Slight breath in, slight breath out, pinch, rock, nod, whichever. Breathe in, invite the nitric oxide into your body. Notice at the beginning how your nose feels, and after you do 5, notice how it feels right away. Then notice how it feels 20 minutes or an hour and a half later. It is self-awareness that is going to change your breathing, as well as using skills and doing exercises. So let's do this together. Slight breath in, slight breath out. No, gracias. No, I'm doing something. Sorry.
Good morning.
No.
Oiga, es que me dicen que usted tiene 2 garrafones y que nada más tenía uno. Me dice la muchacha que hace el aseo que usted tenía un garrafón nada más y que ya tiene 2.
Un momentito, mi Google Translate. Mi mobile app.
La neta, y sí, no sé por qué Roberto hace eso y ya no quería pasar. Y siempre él pasaba, él era el que pasaba y ahora supo lo que hizo. Que la otra vez el viernes que nos tocaba pasar, yo dije, vamos a pasar a la semana. no, vamos a pasar ahí. No, dice, llévame a mi casa. Hombre, no está mal.
Would you please stop here for a second? Just a second. Would you please, what's going on?
They want water. They want if you want water.
Well, someone came by a little while ago and I said no, but he has another question, which I don't understand.
Es que dice la muchacha de limpieza, acá se la sabe, que la señora nada más tenía un garrafón. Ajá, un vacío. Y que ahora ya tiene otro. Pero que el otro garrafón era del señor de allá.
Él está abajo.
Ajá, pero haz de cuenta que el garrafón que tiene de más ella era del señor de allá y es el que nos falta a nosotros.
Did you grab the container that was this? No.
Pues la de limpieza nos lo está diciendo. La chava.
So something's going on with these guys.
La que hace la
So 10 minutes ago, guy came by and said, "Do I want water?" And I said, "No." And then these guys come back. But there's some issue going on, and I'm not quite certain what it is. And I was in the middle of a tape class.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
No, so this is last week, this was on again, so there's some problem.
I don't know. I don't know. You can ask.
What's the problem?
¿Qué pasó? Yo no sabe qué.
Ajá, es que es una que le trajimos una herramienta, pero él tiene el garrafón vacío afuera.
Lo siento, mis español es malo. Háblale. So we'll go talk to them downstairs.
¿Quiere empezar? Overlap. So, dice uno, dos,
Es que usted nada más tenía one. No le voy a traer, o sea, no le voy a traer agua. No le voy a traer. Quiero el garrafón vacío porque el garrafón vacío era del señor. Y usted le pagó a otro chaval que se lo trajera.
No entiendo.
Por eso, pues, porque a mí me están enredando solo.
Dice dos,
Mire, el garrafón vacío del señor lo tiene usted porque usted nada más tenía un garrafón vacío, que es lo que me dice la señora de limpieza.
he had an empty jug. I didn't. I don't know where this went to. I don't know where this went to.
Pero la señora de limpieza me está diciendo que usted nada más tenía uno y porque tiene dos.
I gotta go to work and exchange this before I go to work. So sorry, I'm in a hurry, but yeah, at the same time, my Spanish sucks, I don't know what to talk about.
Right, that's okay. Put it in there. Okay. I have two because I bought one at Oxford.
Es que esos no son del Oxxo.
No, yo tengo. Aquí, venga. Venga. Tengo ese no es completo. Tengo eso.
Y
Uno,
uno verde era del amigo. Entonces, es que en el medio yo no sé la misma, porque dice la señora que la señora no tiene otra razón y que ya tiene dos, y que al señor que ya le falta uno. Es que a mí me falta uno que me dé el señor, pero él tiene acá y dice que no, y que no.
there's something about me. I don't know.
Okay, you can.
Yeah, so when you and I talked about water bottles, I then went to auxiliary water bottles so that I had two. So they gave me that one, and I had another one of those. So he's right, because I couldn't coordinate being finished when they were coming. So I bought one of ourselves. Right? So he's upset about something. I'm not certain what he's upset about. Because the cane made.
Well, I need to know.
So yes, so if you have now is in the middle of recording the class. So I just need to use my help now, really, because I have to stop recording now. Okay? Okay.
Thank you. Thank
No,
you.
it's okay.
Sorry.
No, no, I don't.
Thank you.
Slight breath in your nose, slight breath out your nose, pinch it, and rock. Just allow yourself to have 3 to 6 breaths in the nose, out the nose. And on the next inhale, next exhale, pinch again. Nitric oxide, breathe in. Let your breathing come back to quiet and soft. Next inhale, next exhale, pinch. Nitric oxide, breathing in. Letting your breathing come back down again in the nose, out the nose. Calming. And as I talk, you do 2 more. So remember, the purpose is to unblock your nose, to make nose breathing easier. Nose breathing stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. It's calming. It opens up the alveoli in our lungs, and it opens up our blood vessels. It calms us down. As we go through the Buteyko breathing techniques, what we're doing is retraining the brain center. Yes, you can keep doing it 5 times if you want. You don't need to do more than 5 times. The brain center for breathing is back here. And when we are having dysfunctional breathing, the brain center gives us cues that we're not getting enough oxygen. The fact is that we often are getting enough oxygen. We just have a habit that makes us feel we're not. So the Buteyko breathing is going to unblock your nose, and then I'm going to show you the other breathing skills that will help you retrain your breath center in your brain. Now, with COVID, there is a possibility that you have had damage to your lungs. This is not necessarily more confusing. There are people with asthma, COPD, that have damage to their lungs. The lungs, unlike the liver, do not regrow. However, we can optimize our breathing, and we can optimize our response to how we feel with our breathing. This is very important for you to understand. And the only way that we can have an equivalency is that you know people who have damage to other parts of their body who function very well. And then you know people who seem to have less damage to their body who don't seem to function well. So we can always improve from where we are. And that's why I've spent 50 years of my life working on my own wellness, and why I've spent 50 years of my life working with other people in their wellness. We cannot necessarily cure or eliminate. We can improve. And we can improve a little bit, which can mean a lot, and we can improve a lot. Sometimes we have to keep improving ourselves and not just assume that we can take something and now we're better. This is the modality of modern medicine. I don't feel well, if I'll just wait for a few days. If I feel poorly, I'll go to my doctor. They'll give me something, with the expectation of what they give you is going to cure it or eliminate it 100%. We are living in a different world. That has never been a reality. It never will be a reality. When we have dysfunctions in our body, what we need to do is to usually change our behaviors and our patterns, and our body will change with us. We have to do it. So Buteyko is not an idea, it's a set of skills that I have used successfully in my life to improve my breathing, well enough so that I became an instructor, so that I could share this with you. So this is the first lesson, and then I will do another lesson and probably another lesson on more of the skills, so that as you get better, you can use more of the skills and continue to improve. Now, there's lots of YouTube about Buteyko, Buteyko. I'm just one person in this system, and I just happen to have had COVID, and I used these skills and was asked through a COVID post if I could post some of these skills into the Survivor Core Facebook page. So thank you very much for listening. Don't hesitate to be in touch with us.